Good afternoon from DripsMedia, and welcome to our viewers around the world. It is Monday, October 27th. We are tracking several major stories today. The U.S. stock markets have surged to record highs following new inflation data, fueling hopes for a Federal Reserve rate cut. This comes as third-quarter earnings season continues with strong reports from major companies. In Europe, Italian energy giant Eni has boosted its outlook after a stellar quarter. But we begin with the rally on Wall Street. All three major indexes have reached new heights, with the Dow, S&P 500, and Nasdaq all posting significant gains. The rally was ignited by a cooler-than-expected September Consumer Price Index report, which has increased bets that the Federal Reserve will move to cut interest rates as early as this week. The data showed inflation rising just 3.0% year-over-year, slightly below forecasts, providing the market with a clear runway for growth, as borrowing costs are expected to ease. Third-quarter earnings season is in full swing, and the results are painting a positive picture for corporate America. Among the latest to report are consumer goods giant Procter & Gamble and aerospace and defense firm General Dynamics. Procter & Gamble posted earnings of $1.99 per share, beating the consensus estimate of $1.90, with revenue also topping expectations at $22.39 billion. Meanwhile, General Dynamics reported a strong quarter with earnings of $3.88 per share on revenue of $12.9 billion, a significant increase from the previous year. These reports are part of a larger trend, with 87% of the S&P 500 companies that have reported so far beating their earnings per share estimates, contributing to a blended earnings growth rate of 9.2% for the quarter. In a landmark day for the markets, the S&P 500 has shattered previous records, crossing the 6,800 threshold for the first time in history. The benchmark index hit a peak of 6,807.11 last week, signaling strong investor confidence and market resilience. This historic milestone is the latest achievement in a broad market rally that has also seen the Dow and Nasdaq reach new all-time highs. The surge is largely attributed to the favorable inflation report that has investors optimistic about the Federal Reserve's next move on interest rates. The S&P's performance reflects the strength of the U.S. economy and the positive earnings season, demonstrating the market's ability to weather economic uncertainty and continue its upward climb. Banking giant HSBC is set to announce its third-quarter earnings on Tuesday, October 28th. Investors and analysts will be watching closely as the board is also expected to decide on a third interim dividend for 2025. However, the earnings report will be overshadowed by a significant one-time provision. HSBC has announced it will recognize a charge of $1.1 billion in its third-quarter results. This is related to a court ruling in the Herald Fund SPC litigation, which is connected to the massive fraud perpetrated by Bernard Madoff. While the provision is expected to impact the bank's capital ratio, HSBC has stated it will not affect its return on tangible equity or its dividend plans for the fiscal year. European energy company Eni has delivered a strong third-quarter performance, beating expectations with an adjusted net profit of €1.2 billion. The impressive results were driven by a 6% year-on-year increase in oil and gas production, reaching 1.76 million barrels of oil equivalent per day. The company showed resilience in a lower oil price environment, generating an operating cash flow of €3.3 billion. In light of this robust performance, Eni has raised its full-year guidance. The company now expects its cash flow from operations to reach €12 billion and has increased its 2025 share buyback program to €1.8 billion. The positive results reflect what the CEO called excellent execution and strategic progress on key projects in Mozambique and Congo.